All praise, glory, and honor is most certainly due to the Most High, the God of the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace to you in the name of Jesus. This is your brother Elisha Israel of the household of faith. And I count it truly a blessing each and every single time that I can come before you to preach the word of God. Never do I count it as a light thing to do so. Just a little bit about the household of faith. We meet every Sabbath at 5925 West 25th Avenue in Gary, Indiana at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Peace to you, Brother Isaiah. Grace and peace to you as well, brother. Just let you guys know, if I go out for any reason, I've been trying to get on here for like the last half hour. So if something happens, I'm gonna try to come right back on, okay? And I want to get right into it. Peace to everybody. Peace to Brother Kenny, Brother Kyle, Brother Philip. Peace. I want to deal with questions that I had. Somebody it was a couple days ago. They sent I do this one first. On the Sabbath, they had a question about the Passover and how to keep the Passover. And that part of their question, I didn't see it until it was in the comment section, and I didn't see it until the lesson, the Sabbath day lesson, was over. Okay. So I did want to point out something with the Passover. So if we just real quick, it was a question about the Passover. I'm going to deal with that quickly, and I'll go to the next question. This is Exodus. Turn to Exodus, and we want to pick it up. And let's see. Exodus, the 12th chapter. And we want to pick it up at verse 1. Exodus, the 12th chapter and verse 1. Because here we see the first instance of the Passover. It says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you." Okay, so obviously Israel was dealing with a different calendar, so to speak, a different system of keeping time, just as we deal with the Gregorian calendar today, right? We deal with daylight savings time today, right? So it says, "Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month," peace to you, brother. "Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for one house." So they would have taken lamb on this day, and they had to do something. In verse 5, it says, "Your lamb should be without blemish," so it had to be perfect. Okay. And then it says, "A male of the first year, you shall take it from the sheep or from the goats, and you shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening." Okay. So the day you took it was the 10th day. And you kept it until the 14th day. The 14th day of the first month, that's the Lord's Passover. And that's significant because that between the 10th day and the 14th day was a trial period. In essence, if anything was to be seen in that lamb that was unfit, that was, there was some kind of blemish, and that trial period, it would be done. That is key. Why? Because this points to the Messiah. Okay. The Messiah is the Passover lamb. Just hold our finger here real quick. I just want to show you what it's about. Then we want to go to John 1. Okay. Okay. John 1 and verse. I want to pick it up at verse 29. John 1 and 29. Peace to you, Sister Ruth. So it says, "The next day John seeth Jesus coming unto him, and said, Behold, the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world." Okay. So now he is the Passover lamb, brothers and sisters. Let's go to Corinthians, because this is pointing to Jesus. 1 Corinthians, because the person that asked it was new into the faith and had questions. Okay, and I just want to read. This is 1 Corinthians, the 5th chapter, and I'm going to pick it up at just get right to it. It says, verse 6, it says, "Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump?" So now here, he is rebuking the actions of the people that were immoral. You had fornication commonly amongst the people. Okay, even one when he was dealing with his stepmother. That's what it's saying here. That one should have his father's wife. He wasn't talking about his biological mother, but his the wife that he had. Okay, his father had. So that's the type of stuff that was actually going on in the congregation. So you got to stamp out sin. So he's addressing this, and he says, "No, you're not the little leaven of the whole lump." Then he says something: "Purge out therefore the old leaven." Okay, leaven represents it adulterates. Okay, so leaven can be false doctrine that is opposing to the uncut, unadulterated. That's why I always say uncut, unadulterated word of God, because leaven will change the word of God. It's an adulterating agent. It adulterates what it changes. Okay, sin, malice, and wickedness is referred to as leaven as well. Here he says, "Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump as ye are unleavened." Then he says something: "For even Christ our Passover is sacrificed for us." He is our. So you read that John the Baptist said, "Behold, the Lamb of God was taken away the sin of the world." That's in general, right? He is our sacrifice, but he also specifically is our Passover lamb. Just like they came under the blood of a lamb, you have to come under the blood of Christ. And it is no coincidence that he died on this day. Let's go to the gospel according to Matthew. Gospel according to Matthew. And we want to pick it up at chapter 26, and we want to pick it up at verse 1. Chapter 26 and verse 1. It says, "And it came to pass when Jesus had finished all these sayings, he said unto his disciples, you know that after 2 days is the feast of the Passover, and the Son of Man is betrayed to be crucified." Okay, so he was the Passover lamb. Okay, now let's go back to Exodus, the 12th chapter. So it says they were to kill it in the evening. Then it says in verse 7, "Ye shall take the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper doorpost of the houses wherein they shall eat it." And it's so you should understand that once they come under that blood, okay, you come under that blood, that was your protection from the wrath of God. We need to come under the blood of Christ. He was all showing us something. Let's go to Colossians 1. Colossians 1. Colossians 2, forgive me. Colossians 2, and I want to pick it up at verse number 16. It says, because this person again was new unto the faith and wanted to know, how to observe the Passover. So you need to know what the Passover is about. And if you know what it's about and what it's pointing to, you can better understand what you're supposed to do. And understand this, that he says, Paul writes, "Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of an holy day or of a new moon or of the Sabbath days, which are a shadow of things to come, but the bodies of Christ." See, the Passover is a shadow. All the feast days are the plan of salvation for man. So we see that lamb that was sacrificed, that they tested from the 10th day to the 14th day and sacrificed that evening and came up under the blood of that lamb, that pointed to when the Messiah was to come into earth. So now how do you observe it? We understand the day. Okay. Now let's go back to the gospel according to Matthew, and we want to pick it up. And see what they did on that day of the Passover. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to understand. First of all, let's actually hold our finger in Matthew 26, and let's turn back to Leviticus. Go back to the Old Testament, Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. I'm going to pick up something here, and then we'll go back to Matthew. Okay, so first things first, we need to understand that what these days are. It says in Leviticus 23 and 1, it says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feasts." So the first thing you need to understand is that you have the weekly Sabbath, which is you have a holy convocation where you cease from your labor. The Shabbat means to rest. That's what you do on that day, the Sabbath. And then, so you rest and have a holy convocation. Okay. You have which is a gathering. So for the Passover is no different. That evening you would have a gathering. It is a day of preparation. What are you preparing for? The Feast of Unleavened Bread, which comes the very next day. Okay. So now it says in verse 4, these are the feast of the Lord, even holy convocations, which you shall proclaim in their seasons. That means once every year or annually. Verse 5, on the 14th day of this first month at even is the Lord's Passover. Okay, so what did they do? Now, you don't go out and get a lamb anymore, right? Because the Lamb of God has been sacrificed already. And so when we go to see what this lamb did, let's see what he instituted. This is Matthew, the 26th chapter and verse 26. This is on the day, remember, this is on the day of the Passover. He told him that he would be crucified on that day. Okay. He would be betrayed to be crucified. Now it's that day. Prior to him being crucified on the Passover, he said this. Matthew 26 and 26. It says, and as they were eating, Jesus took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said, take, eat, this is my body. So he took bread, right? Okay. So he took bread, and it says, and he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, drink ye all of it. For this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins, or for the forgiveness of sins. Right? That's why he even said, so what did he do? What did they partake in? We understand that this is a holy convocation, right? A holy gathering on the 14th day of the first month at even, according to the Lord's calendar, or his system of keeping time. Then we understand that they partook of bread and wine. So what you want to do, have a holy convocation, and then partake of unleavened bread and wine. Okay? So that is how you observe it. Okay. He showed us what he did on that day, picking up the instruments once again of his priesthood, because he's a priest after the order of Melchizedek, and that's when he came with bread and wine. But this is how you keep it. Okay. So just to the I believe it was a brother that asked that question. Okay. So I hope that answers that question. The next question dealt with, let's see. The brother asked a question about cigarettes and alcohol. Was it cigarettes and alcohol on the Sabbath day? Okay, so now, first of all, people say cigarettes, sometimes they say cigarettes are a sin in general. Well, actually, let me read this, okay? Let me read this because this is the basis oftentimes for which you will see that people say you can't smoke cigarettes or deal with alcohol on the Sabbath day. Okay, so I'm in Isaiah. I'm in Isaiah 58 chapter, and I want to pick it up here. Isaiah 58 chapter and verse 13. Isaiah 58 and verse 13. It says, if thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath of the light, the holy of the Lord, honorable, and show honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words. Then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. So here's saying, listen, obviously, and we should understand this, that the Sabbath day is not a regular day. Okay, it is a day that you're supposed to keep holy. And so in keeping it holy or sanctifying in that day, one could argue to say that you certainly wouldn't partake in work because it tells you don't work. But it's also, you don't want to engage in the things that you would normally do because it's a day that's holy. Now, so you could err on the side of caution when it comes to alcohol, right, on the Sabbath day. And I mean, it's not as if you have to have alcohol. And then again, there's no law saying specifically, thou shalt not consume alcohol on the Sabbath day, right? See, because they've made it to where, alcohol is evil in general, as far as saints go. But obviously, you drink alcohol on a Passover. He tells you, you could drink alcohol and strong drink on the feast days, right? And there's technically no, Jesus called a wine bib, and technically there's no sin that says even against drunkenness. The issue with drunkenness is that your inhibitions are lessened so that you would be more prone to sin. And that's why it's foolish to consume too much alcohol. And it could be foolish just in the general sense of being drunk and what that does to your body. Too much of it is like it's detrimental. So with this here, my suggestion would be to just simply err on the side of caution. And sometimes when it's not clear and it's not in the sense of it's not spoken specifically, because this is because you don't read it in the Torah, okay? But you do have it that you understand that you're supposed to keep it holy. So in keeping it holy, it's not gonna hurt not to consume alcohol. Because then it becomes you kind of want to I think it'd be wise to refrain from certain activities for the purpose of, again, err on the side of caution. But am I going to sit here and say it is a sin to do? Like the person said, you forbidden to do it? All I can say is people use this verse here. We understand that you're supposed to keep the day holy. Now, whether or not consuming an alcoholic beverage is not keeping it holy, I can't say that because I can't read that. But at the same time, I can say one could err on the side of caution. That may not be the answer that you want specifically, but I can only go by what I see here, okay? And a similar thing for cigarettes. Some will say, cigarette. I've heard people say the flipping a pick is when you light a match or light a lighter. That's kindling the fire, and that right there lets you know you can't handle cigarettes. That's not kindling the fire. Okay, for number one, that is not kindling the fire. Number two, people. Let's go here. Let's go to 1 Corinthians because this is what people use to. This is what people use to say that you can't smoke cigarettes. Okay. Now, it says here in 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter, and verse 19, it says, "What, know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which ye have which ye have of God, and ye are not your own, for ye are bought with a price. Therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's." Now, when we read this in context, brothers and sisters, we should understand that he was talking about fornication. Okay, that's what he actually is. That's the subject matter here. Because if we go up a little bit, it says in verse 15 or 13, says, "Meat for the belly and the belly for meats, but God shall destroy both it and them. Now the body is not for fornication, but for the Lord, and the Lord for the body." Then he goes on to say, in verse 15, "Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Christ? Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them the members of an harlot? God forbid." Because you become one. When it said ye shall be one flesh, that happens in the case of intercourse. Two people become one, right? And that should only be for a man and a wife. So he's talking about here. He said, listen, the Spirit of God is dwelling in you. How are you dealing in fornication? So that's what he's telling. Okay, she's saying you shouldn't do that. Now, he says, "What, know ye not that your body is a temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which ye have of God, and ye are not of your own?" So people use that to say you can't smoke cigarettes. Okay. The Bible, in my humble opinion, does not address cigarettes. That's my humble opinion. I don't see "thou shalt not smoke a cigarette." I can't look at this particular verse and say "thou shalt not smoke cigarettes." But what I will do is go another place to see why you shouldn't smoke cigarettes. Okay. Give me a moment. All right. This is the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Smoking and tobacco use. Okay. It says cigarette smoking harms nearly every organ of the body, causes many diseases, and reduces health of smokers in general. Quitting smoking lowers your risk for smoking-related diseases and can add years to your life. Cigarette smoking causes more than 480,000 deaths each year in the United States. This is nearly 1 in 5 deaths. Smoking causes more death. Listen to this. Smoking causes more deaths each year than the following causes combined: human immunodeficiency virus, which is HIV, illegal drug use, alcohol use, motor vehicle injuries, and firearm-related deaths. More than 10 times as many U.S. citizens have died prematurely from cigarette smoking than have died in all wars fought by the United States. Smoking causes about 90% or 9 out of 10 of all lung cancer deaths. More women die from lung cancer each year than from breast cancer. I'm going to read that again. More women die from lung cancer each year than from breast cancer. And 90% of people who have, not everybody, but 90% of people who have lung cancer smoke. Smoking causes about 80% of all deaths from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD. Cigarette smoking increases risk for death from all causes in men and women. The risk of dying from cigarette smoking has increased over the last 50 years. It increases the risk of coronary heart disease by 2 to 4 times, for stroke by 2 to 4 times, for men developing lung cancer 25 times, for women developing lung cancer by 25.7 times. Smokers are at a greater risk for diseases that affect the heart and blood vessels, cardiovascular disease. Smoking causes stroke and coronary heart disease, which are among the leading causes of death in the United States. Even people who smoke fewer than 5 cigarettes a day can have early signs of cardiovascular disease. Smoking damages blood vessels and can make them thicken and grow narrower. This makes your heart beat fast and your blood pressure go up. Clots can also form. A stroke occur. I'm going to skip that. Go down a little bit. It could trigger your asthma. Listen to this. This is what I found, because we used to call them back in the day. I used to just call them, because that was the kind we call them cancer sticks. You see somebody smoking, yeah, he's smoking them cancer sticks. Listen to what it says about cancer. And I was a kid calling it that and had no idea of this. It says smoking can cause cancer almost anywhere in your body. I'm going to read that again. Smoking can cause cancer almost anywhere in your body. The bladder, the blood, acute myeloid leukemia, cervix, colon, and rectum. So you can get the irony is you'll get cancer from smoking cigarettes from one end, but you can get cancer in the other end. Esophagus, kidney, larynx, liver, pancreas, stomach, trachea, lung. Smoking also increases the risk of dying from cancer and other diseases in cancer patients. This is what I found. I said, man, some of these facts I didn't know. A lot of them I didn't know. And it says if nobody smoked, 1 of every 3 cancer deaths in the United States would not happen. Read that again. If nobody smoked, this according to the CDC, 1 in every 3 cancer deaths in the United States would not happen. Okay, so with that being said, to the brother that asked the question about smoking on the Sabbath day, you shouldn't smoke on the Sabbath. You shouldn't smoke on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Going into Friday evening, like you. To me, that's like saying, should I drink? It's okay for me to drink bleach just a little bit every day, not enough to kill me. Can I drink this bleach? I don't think that's wise to do in general. Certain things are common sense. So my suggestion to you would be to kick that habit altogether, because there's nothing good that's going to come from smoking cigarettes. Okay, that's just common sense. All right. I don't know if anybody else had a question. If not, brothers and sisters, I'm gonna end it there. If nobody else had a question. Okay, Kenny, that's good advice, brother. That's good advice. And I'm not saying that's, you know, it's more than notion to say you gonna just stop smoking cigarettes, because all the additives that they put in it, particularly nicotine, that gets you addicted. You know? And it's, man, it's such the world of hustle, man. If you ever research the advertising for cigarettes, I mean, you see they advertise to kids. You see they advertised even advertise. I've seen old advertisements where it said it's a doctor. He has a coat on and he says, you know, I smoke a pack a day. Smokes a pack of cigarettes a day. All praise to the Most High, Brother Damon. All praise to the Most High. So yeah, he spoke a study, saw the doctor. So you look at that and you thinking, oh, okay, this is cool. You know, these companies don't care about us. Their bottom line is the dollar. As a matter of fact, some of these larger corporations that produce cigarettes, they had to love the huge lawsuits, but they were preparing for that. So they put money aside. They knew they was going to have to pay. Okay. Okay, hold on. One second. Hold on 1 second. Let's go to this brother Isaiah, and then hold on for the questions real quick. Isaiah, and then I'm trying to answer these. Galatians 5. Okay, what's your question on Galatians 5? And then I get to Sister Lindsay and I'm sorry, Sister K. And thanks, Sister Ruth, for saying I like the video. And okay. Galatians 5, you said talking about circumcision. Okay, so here's what, so the brother Isaiah said, a so-called Coptic told me I was foolish to circumcise. Okay, well, if he was foolish to circumcise, Timothy was foolish because Paul circumcised Timothy. Okay, so hold on, let me just let me read that first real quick. Give me 1 second. Because people don't understand, and when you read in Paul's writings, you should understand that you have to look at, this is in the same book now, Galatians 2 and verse 3. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I'm just trying to find that specific verse. Is it 2 through 5? Give me one moment. Acts. This is talking about Titus and 2. Hold your finger in Galatians 5. I'm gonna come back there. Acts the 16th chapter, and I'm gonna pick it up at verse 1. It says, then came he to Derbe and Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple was there named Timotheus. That's Timothy, who he addressed 1st and 2nd Timothy to. It said, the son of a certain woman, which was a Jewess and believed, but his father was a Greek. So he was a Gentile. He was a Gentile, but he was a Gentile. Okay, so even though, because the seed determines who you are. Okay, so his father being a Greek, okay, or European, and his mother being a Judean, that letting you know who he is. Okay, but his mother believed, and his grandmother believed. You can read, but it says, which was well reported of by the brethren that were at Lystra and Iconium. Him would Paul have to go forth with him, and took and circumcised him because of the Jews which were in those quarters, for they knew all that his father was a Greek. Now, wait a minute. Why would he circumcise him? Because he First of all, he was willing to do it. Secondly, even tying that into the Passover, if you want to observe the Passover, you need to be circumcised, the Bible tells you. But why didn't Paul have immediately circumcise these people? Number one, you are dealing with a people who, just like in American society, when we read this book, brothers and sisters, and the culture, it is totally antithetical to what's going on right now. I give an example. This book is patriarchal. This society is matriarchal, right? It's so many differences. So you talking about people who had a totally foreign concept. So he's trying to bring these people along, okay? So you can't get it all at one time. So he said, you believe in Christ? Okay, now pull down your pants. Whoa, hold on. Wait a minute. What? Even though that's what Abraham did, even though that's what they were doing, you see in the East and certain places, circumcision was practiced. Okay. So that's one part of it. The second part is that the people were saying, basically, some Judeans was coming behind him. And then just basically as if, okay, yeah, you're going to be circumcised, and as if that's all they needed to do. So when we read in Galatians, the 5th chapter, we should understand it's not just because you circumcised don't mean. It's about believing in him as well. It ain't about just keeping the law, because all have sinned. That's why he pointed out all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. So Galatians 5, he said, behold, I Paul say unto you that if ye be circumcised, Christ shall profit you nothing. Not saying that you don't have to be circumcised or you should not be circumcised. There's a problem with circumcision. That's not it. Matter of fact, hold your finger there. Hold your finger there. And let's go to, let's see. Hold your finger there. Give me a moment. Forgive me. Give me a moment. I just want to read this about the Passover. Just tying this into, there's another place I want to go, but I can tie this into the Passover. Another place that I wanted to, or tie this into the question I was asked earlier. This is Exodus 12 and 43. And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof. That's a foreigner. But every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof. The foreigner and a high servant shall not eat thereof. Now, but then listen to this. It says, and when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, verse 48, and will keep the Passover to the Lord, meaning he's making the decision to serve the Lord. Okay, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it, and he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. So that's a sign of the covenant. People call it barbaric today. They can say, like, people got to say a lot of things about the Bible, and they homosexuals. I'm not saying that man was. I'm just saying people engage in all kind of things, all kind of debauchery, all type of sin, but they want to talk about what's right and wrong in the Bible. They don't have a clue. What's right and wrong is in his law, as if they know more than God. They don't know more than God. He said, be circumcised on the 8th day. That's what you're supposed to do. But at the same time, you bringing these people along, you have to take steps in doing that. Like he said, if you sojourn there, after you coming to see, once you understand the truth, it's just like somebody coming to church. Yeah, I've been watching a few videos. I want to deal with this. And then you say, okay, great. Pull down your pants. We're going to circumcise you right now. What? Yeah, even Abraham, it was it's like a time period in the sense of you coming into the truth. And once you understand what you got to do, okay, I'm going to do that now. When he dealt with Abraham, did he say, to Abraham in Genesis 12, now the Lord said unto Abraham, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house? Right? When he told him that, did he circumcise him right then? Or did he say get circumcised right then? When did he say that? That was a little time later, wasn't it? That was a little time later. So I'm just saying, man, you got to bring them along. So in Galatians 5, that was in Genesis 17, but we read about him calling him out in Genesis 12. So, yeah, you need to be circumcised. But circumcision in and of itself is not going to save you. And that's what he was dealing with. Just like brothers say, you got to keep the law, but they don't get baptized. When Jesus, the Great Commission was go to all nations, teach all nations, baptizing them, right? But they don't do that. So, no, you're not a fool. He just don't know what he's talking about. Or whoever told you that, brother. Okay, I appreciate you, Brother James and Sister Ruth, for saying like the video. I appreciate that. Hold on, it was another question. Man, what was that at? Oh, sister says, okay for me to warm up food for my little babies on the Sabbath. I mean, again, there's certain things I can't say something that's dead as not. Okay. For example, when people say, oh yeah, the microwave is they talk about that. First of all, you put something in the microwave, you putting a plate in the microwave that's already prepared, and pushing the button is not more work than you even making a sandwich on the Sabbath. You see what I'm saying? That's not, and then furthermore, that's radiation. That's not even addressed. Like I get this story about a brother who he wanted a sandwich heated. He said, man, I want this sandwich warm. It was wrapped up. So it was like an aluminum foil. That brother put that, it was on some kind of, it was wrapped in something. That brother put that in, it was hot. It was in the summer. That brother put that thing in the back of his car in that window, came back, and that sandwich was hot. It's the same kind. That's not what the key is, not to be distracted from focusing on God, really. Because if you get off into cooking, you're gonna cook a 5-course meal, right? And that's not what he's talking. That's not what he wants you to do. Even when people talk about killing the fire, we don't know nothing about killing the fire. We don't know nothing about buying or killing the fire because we had the amenities of civilization. Killing the fire, trying to keep warm, you got to get all these sticks, and you got to go to work. It might take you a long time to gather all these sticks and killing the fire. That's not killing the fire. Because if that's the case, you can't start your car because you got combustion going on there. You can't heat your house because you got a flame in your furnace or your hot water heater. That's not what that's talking about. All right. So we're supposed to sit in church and listen to the lesson freezing because we can't have no fire. But anyway, let's see. Was it another one? No. Well, you said the Sabbath is so stick. Really, the guy was killed for picking up a stick. No, he wasn't killed for picking up a stick. Let's go to Deuteronomy. See, that's the thing. I understand, but hold on. Hold on, brother. Hassani. Hold on 1 second. I want to go to answer her question. She said he was killed for picking up a stick. He wasn't killed for picking up a stick. Give me 1 second. Because what he was killed for, in and of itself, I don't know you're not saying it, but he was killed for disobedience. Now, the problem with what he did was they were told specifically. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, I said Deuteronomy. This number is the 15th chapter. It says Numbers 15 and 32. And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath day. Okay. So now it says, and they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moses to see, and Aaron and unto all the congregation, and they put him in ward, that's prison, because it was not declared what should be done to him. And the Lord said unto Moses, that man shall surely be put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones that without the camp or outside the camp. And all the congregations brought him without the camp and stoned him with stones, and he died. Now, was it that he picked up a stick? If that's the case, that means if you walk with a cane that's made out of some wood, you worthy of death? No, that's not why. You gotta ask yourself, why is he picking up these sticks? Now, he was probably okay. He was probably, go to the book of Acts. I think it's in Acts. He was probably, Bible don't say specifically. Where is it? In Acts, hold on. Maybe it's not in Acts. Hold on. That he was killing. He more than likely was killing a fire. Okay, we're gonna see something about that. I can't say 100% because the Bible don't say that. But if I was to infer, I would say this is what he was doing. Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me find it. Give me a second. Okay, it is Acts 28. Acts the 28th chapter. And Acts the 28th chapter. I want to pick it up in verse 3. And it says something here. This says Acts 28 and 1. It says, when they were escaped, then they knew that the island was called Melita. Okay. I want to skip to verse 2. It says, and the barbarous people showed us no little kindness, for they kindled a fire and received us everyone because of the present rain and because of the cold. Okay. Hold on. Is that the one I wanted to read? Give me 1 second. Hold on 1 second. So I don't think that's the one. Let me see. Man, where's that at? Give me 1 second. But yeah, that's because he was doing work, sister. That's because he was doing work. And that's why it ultimately, you know, specifically, they weren't supposed to do that on the Sabbath day. I'm gonna come back to this. Hold on one second. Nah, I wasn't presumptuous sin. Yeah, he knew what he was doing. He knew he wasn't supposed to do that. That's one thing, they kept reading the law unto them. If you ever notice, they read the law unto them over and over again. Why? So they would know what to do. Okay, so yeah, he knew what he was doing. So he was just gonna basically do it anyway. He knew he wasn't supposed to do it, he did it anyway. That's why, because they was like, man, because he said, man, we supposed to kill him. He said, yeah, kill him. It wasn't because he picked up a stick. If you think about that, he was picking up sticks. You gotta think, why are you picking up these sticks? What are you doing? He doing work. Not supposed to work on the Sabbath. And so it's a serious thing. That's what people should really consider. And that's why I said earlier, you might want to err on the side of caution. But to the sister, it was another question. So the brother, real quick, the same brother, Hassani, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, brother. He said he was vaping. Brother, vaping is just as you can't read thou shalt not vape, but what you can, if you research it, you understand that's not healthy either for you. Yeah, that's stuff that, yeah, I mean, it's not healthy for you. It's not wise to do. That's just, yeah, give me a second, man. Yeah, anyway, can't find it. But there's another one. Was that it? I think that's it, brothers and sisters. If there's nothing else, yeah, because I know this was it, but I can't remember if this is what I'm looking for now or not. So I'm gonna have to keep looking. And I hate when I have to do that. Let's see. Ugh. All right. Man, hold on. I can't read this. This definitely, all praise to the Most High, brother. This definitely, my estimation speaks to it. This is Exodus, the 35th chapter, verse 3. Going back to Sister K's, Sister K, right? Sister K, about the sticks. 35:3, ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day. Why? Because kindling a fire is a lot of work. Okay. So that's why you're not supposed to do it. You're supposed to have provisions. Have your provision. It'd be wise to have your provisions as much as possible already prepared, so that you could just on the Sabbath day, it's all gravy. Okay, you already in a position to where you got everything prepared. You ain't got to worry about them. You can focus on God, because that's ultimately what we're supposed to be doing. And I think I'm gonna end it there. I'm gonna keep looking, but I'm gonna end it. Yeah, man. Yeah, all praise to the Most High, brothers and sisters that's listening. Sister Rihanna, Brother James, peace to everybody. And I want to remind you that we're at the House of Faith. Again, we meet every Sabbath at 5925 West 25th Avenue in Gary, Indiana. All praise to the Most High, brother. 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, we live stream right here on the Israel Teach YouTube channel, as well as at www.israelteach.org. And what else? Also on our website, israelteach.org, we live stream that. What's this? Yeah. I appreciate you, brother. You pushing them likes. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's why, you see instances where he's telling you to prepare. You're right, to prepare for the Sabbath, right? So that's what we should be doing. And then a lot of the problems we have and a lot of things we ain't got to worry about. And ain't even no distraction. And that's the key. We don't want to have a distraction, okay? In the sense that we caught up into something else. And it's very easy to do because it's distractions all around us. So with that, peace. Also, if you've been edified through the ministry, you can leave a donation on the website, israelteach.org. 100% of the proceeds go to the work of the ministry. We do not accept payment for ministering, but we do accept monies to go to the work of the ministry. Okay, and we are thankful for all those who have donated. We truly appreciate it. And again, know that the money is going to the work of the ministry. Like I always say, we're a small congregation, but one thing we don't have is a mortgage. We are thankful for that. And that's because of your giving. And we truly appreciate it. We love you. And keep the faith, brothers and sisters. Keep the faith. All praise to the Most High.